One, two, three. We want to welcome everybody to the Mom and Dad Times, where our favorite two people are Mom and Dad. And today we're going to do something special. This is a special edition because it's a topic that, wow, I was blown away by an interview. I had to watch it, and I thought I was going to watch it for a couple seconds, and I stood there and watched the whole entire interview, folks. Katt Williams. And to be honest with you, folks, I had to text some friends that are in the industry. I'm not going to say because people going to be trying to find out who they are. And they're like, it's mostly true. You know what I'm saying? It's mostly true. I mean, some of it, okay, whatever. However, Carlin, what did you think about the Katt Williams interview? Let's start off with that. He talked about everything. I mean, if you left unscathed right now, you're safe.
It took me a while to digest everything that he was saying. I watched the first half of it with my wife. She's not even a Katt Williams fan. She barely knew who he was. But I was watching it in the bed, and she came in, and it was so intriguing that she, was next to me. I think the first thing that hits me is that it was the same thing that hit everybody. I was shocked. I was shocked by how direct he was being. Now, he has a direct style of comedy, so full transparency, I am a Katt Williams fan. So for all of our Christian friends that are watching or whatever, I do not endorse the language nor even a lot of the content that he has. But I'm a fan
He has done Christian comedy, though.
He has. Well, I didn't know that until the interview.
Thank you.
To be honest. Okay. But I've never seen it. The stuff that I've seen is the stuff that he normally does. Okay. So I'm just being honest. But I'm a fan of his artistry because his delivery, his timing, which is a lot of comedy. That's a lot that everybody can't deliver a joke. Everybody can't craft it or move an audience or whatever. He's really, really good at it. Okay. And that's what I am able to separate from the content and, some of the language or whatever. So I am I've been on Katt Williams for a long time. Right. Okay. So I'm not shocked that he is able to deliver messaging the way that he did, but I was shocked in the beginning as to how that he was naming names. He was citing actual, okay, we have to, let's just say we believe what he's saying, right? He was citing actual incidents, it's tough. That's tough to do, that like without it not being true because there's witnesses, who could come out and say, yeah, he wasn't telling the truth or whatever. Man, basically the bottom line is this. I'm also a fan of the show, the podcast Shannon Sharp has, Club Shay Shay.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Tremendous show.
The Kirk Franklin one was powerful. When he asked Kirk to pray at the end, okay, I know we're getting off track. All right.
No, we're not. But because Shannon Sharp has done a tremendous job.
Well, that's another subject. That's another subject because he's been a vocal voice for civil rights,
yes,
and political, and for social justice. Yeah, and I got to be honest with you, I think that's why he was forced out of the Skip Bayless show because he was just anyway. That's like I said, it's all another subject.
He was too much, and it was making people feel uncomfortable with truth.
Right. Anyway, it was but I'm a fan of his show, so I've seen the other ones that Katt Williams was referring to. Mm-hmm. The other comics came on there, and they were basically lying about Katt. So this was what he did. He came on, and basically he said, "I'm tired of everybody lying about me in the industry, and I'm going to respond." So this was basically his clapback. That's what this was all about. And I believe that a lot of it was true, and I also believe a lot of it was entertainment. Some of the stuff couldn't have been true. Mm-hmm. He doesn't run a 4.140 at 50 years old. He didn't read 3,000 books a year. Somebody did the math online. One of our friends said that's 8 books a day. He wouldn't even read 8 books a day. He wasn't accepted in college at the age of 7 years old. Let's come on, man. Carlin, he said he hasn't rolled his own blunt in 20 years. Please.
Well, but let's just be realistic here. Everybody I contacted, some of them have, said it's mostly true.
But it was 100%. The other thing is mostly true. I think what they're talking about is the industry stuff. Right?
They said it's mostly true. Now there's some fabrication. You got to deliver the story, right? And so, that's in anything. People always put their little spin on it. Of course, he's going to throw his spin his way, right? But the one that really got me, Carlin, the deliberate thing that Hollywood is trying to do to black men is make them wear dresses.
Okay. Now, I'm glad you brought that up. He's not the first person to say that in an interview.
Correct.
Dave Chappelle said it. He
went down on Oprah.
Yeah. He did it on the Actor Studio. If you go look at the one for the Actor Studio, man, it's really great. They get more to the meat of the matter. And he went down a list. He said, Black comedians who have had success, who have had ultimate success, like crossover success, all had to wear a dress.
Yep.
He said, ultimately, he went down. And so Katt is only echoing what Dave Chappelle has said. And now at this point, a lot of people said Dave Chappelle was crazy. One of the most dismissive things that you can do is call somebody crazy.
Yeah.
Right? When you
Without
have somebody
informed.
These guys are almost genius level. I consider Dave Chappelle to be a genius. I consider Katt Williams to be borderline. He says he is, you know what I mean? But there's still some stuff that,
but you got to be intelligent to deliver funny, Carlin.
Oh, yeah, no. This has nothing but he's highly intelligent. In fact, all those guys are highly intelligent.
Right.
That's not a question. The question is whether or not there's some mental imbalance there. And I contend that fine line we've always been grown up with, where it said the difference between, slow and genius is a very blurred line.
Correct.
Right. I believe that's true. I believe you have to be able to think outside the box in a way that average people cannot think. Right. Okay. So with Katt and saying that, he's basically doing the same thing, saying the same thing that Dave Chappelle was like, you name them, Tyler Perry, Jamie Foxx, Martin Lawrence, Chris Tucker, Ricky Smiley. They all have Eddie Murphy. Even think about it. Chris Rock. They've all worn dresses at one point and dressed up as females.
Yeah,
and that right there, he said, is a theme to emasculate the black man and to create a thing where they're not as. And he didn't say this, but when you start delving into it, so that he's not intimidating.
Yeah.
You don't laugh at a tough guy.
Right.
You laugh at the soft guy.
Yeah.
Right. And Katt Williams' whole persona is that of a pimp, so to speak. Pimps are not looked at as soft.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Chappelle is in a vein, all kind of on his own. But the bottom line is that neither one of them was willing to go along with Hollywood's portrayal of the black man on that vein. Now, I contend that Katt, having the whole pimp mentality, does go along a little bit with the Hollywood. But, it is what it is. And you can trace what he's saying without it being a conspiracy theory. I know conspiracy theorists are loving this right now, but I'm just saying you don't have to go that deep. Just go by what the man said. Go look at all of the body of work of all the most successful black male comedians, and every single one of them has had to play a woman.
Yeah, and let's just be realistic, And the fact is that he talked about even how people are taken down in Hollywood. They even decide how they're going to take you down by associating with people that can take you down whenever they want to. We talk about
but that's also too. Here's why it rings as true.
Yeah,
it's that way in any industry. Corporate America, they want to take you. If they want to take you down, they've got to play in a process to do it.
Yeah.
Sports, if they want to take you down. I mean, it's in any industry. And what he has done is he has actually come out from behind the door because he's been there. He's been a part of the system.
Right.
He's actually come out from behind the door and said, everything you think that they're doing back there, they're doing.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying. Chappelle said that in his very iconic monologue he did on Saturday Night Live. He was talking about Donald Trump. He was like, one of the things that you have to respect about is like he came out from behind the White House and said, everything that you think that they're doing back there, they're doing. And he turned around and went back there and continued doing it. Right? That's what Chappelle said. But I'm just saying, when you have somebody like that, it hits you. Because all of us think at some point in time, he made something about Illuminati and Ludacris and stuff like that. We love conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
The human beings do. I'm not saying there isn't an Illuminati. I'm not saying that there is one. All I'm saying is that for him to say that out loud and then refer to a person and a meeting that they had and then reference a certain amount of money that seems to add up to what he was saying, it's like, whoa.
But you know what? It's like Ripley's Believe It or Not, right? Ripley said something, and that's what the whole thing. The truth is more stranger than fiction.
Truth is stranger than fiction.
And I think for a lot of people want to ignore the ugly side, that there are ugly people out there. I mean, to be honest with you, just making a statement, everybody. When people want to get away with something, they want to make you believe it's not happening.
What did he say? Katt Williams had a cold line in his interview. He said, "What's the number one job of people who sold their souls?
Act like it never happened.
Act like it never happened." I mean, that's what he said. He said that. Like, wow.
And let's just be real, people. The key thing is to make you believe, oh, that doesn't happen. We're not doing it here. To make you have that perception, be so nice and kind. And oh no, I mean, think about it. Even Oprah Winfrey sang Harvey Weinstein's praises at one point. Never know. Nobody. The word was out, but no, he couldn't be doing that, and he was doing that. Now I think we're more cynical, where if we hear anything, people just want to rationalize and believe it. Some of the stuff, you got to look at it rationally, people. You got to look at it. You know, even with the interview, as much as a lot of it was on point, there's some fabrication to what he was saying too.
I mean, right, and I think that I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think that also some of the stuff that I look at as more truthful or having more truth to it is whenever he took pause to it and did not come right out and do it. See, some of the stuff that he says was an attack on Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, Faison Love. He named them. Okay. I think it was kind of dirty for him to go out there and say that Earthquake is illiterate and he can't read. I mean, that's not something you put out there. I mean, I believe it's 100% true, but you don't do that to a grown man. But anyway. But
let's look at this, Carlin, real quick before you get to that point. The parts that were true, you got to say, wow.
Well, parts that were true are things that we've kind of thought in our heads. Yeah. We just didn't have anybody famous who was there in the room to verify it for us. Correct. That's why. What's hot right now is everything with Diddy and everything he did, and that connection to TD Jakes. That's a whole other show for you. When he said Diddy likes to party, but you have to tell him no. That right there was, to me, he didn't need to say, and he didn't say anything more about it.
Right.
So all the other stuff he was willing to go into is like, yeah, but that right there's got some criminal and some criminal implications to it. With the human trafficking thing and everything like that. It's like, I'm not going to get mixed up, but I will just tell you this, that Diddy likes to party in a way that you have to tell him, look, I'm not doing that. That's what he said.
Well,
and when that's in the news right now and you go, wow, like, it's not even a matter of if it's true or not. It lines up with what's going on. And I think that's why this whole thing is having such an impact and why it's viral. It's just that a lot of what he's saying is lining up with what you already thought.
And he's giving it, guys, it's really true. But what really got me, though, Carlin, was the whole thing when Cedric did his little thing at the end and they showed the video.
They got receipts. They got the joke that he did. And it's like, and Todd, there's stuff that's like the hiding in plain sight.
Yeah.
Remember he was talking about Mark Curry having. I remember Mr. hanging with Mr. Curry or something like that.
Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Yeah.
And he was a principal and he was this, that, the other. And then he got canceled. And years later, Steve Harvey does the same thing. He's a principal in a school. And I'm like, they just stole that from him.
Yeah.
And but I didn't think anything of it until Katt said something about it yesterday.
Well, Steve Harvey even said, basically, what was it? American Idol stole his stuff when he had Big Time, whatever it was.
Yeah.
So, thievery is part of the industry, and it's a big money thing. There's nothing new under the sun, as we know. But, the real scary part about this is that no one can ever say it was totally false.
Right.
See, everybody, when I was watching every interview, it was kind of like they paused and like, I got to be careful how I word this. They don't go into detail, but they say mostly what he said was right. They never go into detail. It kind of goes, I mean, I didn't finish the Ice Cube one because, we have a friend who's related. But the whole point when Cube was explaining, you could tell like, well, it wasn't. Most of it was on point, but there was some of it was not quite like that. And let's just be real. Whenever you tell a story, it's not going to be 100% like that, even if you saw it.
And Katt Williams is a storyteller. That's what he is. He's a storyteller. So there's going to be a big part of it that gets embellished. But I mean, the truth is the truth.
Yeah. And like I said, man, people do steal jokes. We have friends who are comedians, and they said the one thing you do not want to do, Todd, is steal one of your friends' jokes, because that will get you beat up. It's pretty ugly.
Mm-hmm. He even threatened physical violence to Cedric the Entertainer over a joke.
Yeah.
He said, if I see him next. Yeah.
It's the same joke that he did in Kings of Comedy.
Yes.
And then the thing about it was really shocked me that the Bernie Mac. Even Steve Harvey was talking about Bernie Mac. And now you see it much differently.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And
I mean, the stuff, again, it lines up when he talks about how basically they treated Bernie Mac a different way than they treated the other three.
Right.
And like, it was Steve Harvey's tour. That's why he came on last, but they were all afraid of Bernie.
Yeah.
That's why they didn't want him to go last. And to be honest with you, when I look back over the Kings of Comedy show, Bernie's was the funniest one by far.
But crazier than that, Carlin, Bernie left. Think about it. Bernie left. The question is why? And
why?
And I was watching this other comedian talk about it, and he said Bernie was not a vicious dude. As much as you see him do all that stuff, whatever, he said if he was done with you, he'd be like, you know what? I think it was Earthquake when he was talking about it. He was explaining it. And he said Bernie Mac was not the dude you think he is. He's a very gentleman, very professional. And, he wasn't one of those guys that would sit up there and curse you out like that in your face and stuff. He'd be like, you know what? And I thought that was a very interesting insight into Bernie Mac's life. Because he's not here to defend himself, yay or nay. And to me, the sad part about this all is that everybody knows how Hollywood is not right.
Mm-hmm.
But no one's willing to do something outside of the Hollywood way. You had Taraji P. Henson.
But part of that, Todd, is too, is the way that Hollywood is formed. There's only 6 or 7 studios in Hollywood. People don't even realize that. Yeah. So if you want to get on, or if you want to make headway, you got to deal with one of the 5 or 6 or 7 studios that are there. And that goes back to what Chappelle was saying. And he almost got canceled for it, but I think he's so powerful right now. He can't. When he did his, he talked about money. He has a follow like Beyonce. He was borderline anti-Semitic, but he came on and was talking about Kyrie and that whole situation, and he was just like, people allege that there's a lot of Jews in Hollywood, and he was like, that's because there is. He was like, it's a lot. That's what he said. Yeah. But he didn't make any accusations out of that.
Right.
So what he was saying is that you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Right.
If there's something wrong with Hollywood and the culture, and there have been many people that work in the industry who say that, then somebody once said to me, who met Whitney Houston, unfortunately, God rest her soul, and said that people don't tell the same lie about you for 25 years.
Yeah.
They just don't. They lose interest after a while. So they were saying about Whitney Houston that she was addicted to drugs. That's not a rumor. Mm-hmm. If you could prove it wrong, it falls off at some point in time. Right. You don't say it for 2.5 decades. They say that about Hollywood. The Hollywood is a sick environment internally because all the decadence and how just basically, to be honest with you, sin.
Yeah.
Then they're not making up the same lie for the last 80 years.
No.
Eventually, it won't. If it doesn't have any legs, if people said, Todd Hunt is a selfish person, sooner or later that's going to fall off because that's just not true. You can't sustain a lie in perpetuity because the people that tell it end up going. The same people that were saying that there was something wrong in Hollywood when Marilyn Monroe was being passed around like a party favor. You know what I'm saying? Are dead now. Okay. Yet and still that narrative still lives. Why? Because it was probably true.
And let's just be real about it, folks. I know we're getting up to the minute here. It opened up it verified a lot of eyes. Not that people were not saying it's not happening. It just made, the dots started to connect. Yeah. And so now what people are saying is let's take a better look at this and why is Hollywood doing it. And like I told people before, Chicago and LA were fighting for each other way back in the early 1900s, right? For vie of people's attention for the movies. Chicago was one of the biggest ones. In fact, the remnants you still see with Donahue, Oprah, all those places there. Chicago still has that pull, right? Historically. Yes. However, LA took it over for one simple movie, and that was Birth of a Nation. Think about that. That's what kicked Hollywood and made it past what was going on in Chicago, was that one movie. And the narrative was wrong. And guess what, folks? They always find enough money to make a slave movie, a gangster movie. Hollywood always finds enough money to do that. Always. But to make something else, it's very hard. And they always use the term, well, it's not going to make money. And think about it. Marvel right now is not making money. They're losing money. But they're not going to stop making them. So what's the real deal of what Hollywood's trying to do? And I think that's the question that people need to ask is, Hollywood, they want you to think a certain way in 20 years. Everything they do, it's not going to happen. 20 years later, it happens. And guess what, folks? That's what they want you to do. They want you to think it's not going to happen. It happened. That's the falsehood of that whole thing. And by the way, Carlin, we're Christians here. The truth shall set you free. You can only run away up from a lie for a while before it catches up with you. And that's the real sad part about it. Folks, just come out and be honest. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and Todd, just to wrap this up with about Katt Williams, I think one of the reasons why this is hitting a nerve, why this is so viral, people are thirsty for the truth.
Yeah.
Katt really didn't tell 100% the truth. Let's be honest. He didn't. Because they're verified that if you watch the whole thing,
right,
the producers kept stopping at certain points to fact check. And they're like, some of the stuff, he was like, well, yeah, it was 2005. You know what I mean? Yeah. Oh, but your mind was sharp about the other stuff, but about when it came to stuff that we're fact checking. So let's be honest. There's no way in the world that he told the truth about everything, but he told enough truth to make everybody go, whoa.
Yeah.
And so people are so thirsty for the truth. Here's the other thing.
Yeah.
They're thirsty for the truth, but they're more thirsty for verification of what they have in their own minds.
Woo!
And that is the only reason why Donald Trump is even relevant. I know this isn't about him. But the primaries are next week. Iowa's next week, right?
Yeah.
And he's got all these cases against him and stuff like that. And they'll go, why in the world do 40% of Americans still want to vote for this man? Because he verifies what they want to believe in their minds.
Yeah.
They want to believe that all migrants are illegal. They want to believe that black people are out of control in democratic cities. Mm-hmm. They want to believe that, that you're taking from their money if you have a public system that does public assistance. They want to believe. I can go down a whole list.
Yes.
All he does is confirm the boogeyman in their head.
Yeah.
What Katt Williams did the other day, he said he used keywords: Illuminati.
Yeah.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The system.
Mm-hmm.
These are things that we in our heads go, ooh, but we don't have anybody who's in there to verify it for it. And all he did was just come out and say, everything you're thinking, it's true. So for the stuff that is true, we've now given him credibility for everything. And that's the danger that we got to be careful with.
Yes.
Because what did Lucifer say in the Garden of Eden? You shall not surely die.
Come on.
And what he meant to say was, what he insinuated was, you shall not surely die today.
Yeah.
Taking the truth and adding to it. And I believe that's what Katt did. And because of our thirst for truth, and because for our thirst for validation of the conspiracies in our head, we've embraced it. And at the very least, we've given him rent, and we've given him lodging in our head for the next few days until the next thing comes up.
And folk, this is the thing. The Bible says this: lying lips are an abomination unto the Lord. But this is the key part. But they that deal truly
His delight.
delight. Folk, and you're dealing today. Deal truthfully with your neighbor, with your friend, with your business. That's the true character of God. The problem is we all want to spin things the way we want to see it to go favor into us. Folk, don't do that. Don't participate in that. Because at the end of the day, it's all going to come out and people are going to point out, and then there's going to be skepticism about you. So what you do today, be honest. Deal truthfully. Don't give half truths. It's still a lie. Don't give a quarter truth. It's still a lie. Don't even give a flat out lie, because that's a lie. Folks, just be honest today and try to live honestly for the rest of your life. And even when my wife has something that's not good, it teaches me how to be tactful with my words and say, baby, that's probably not best looking for you for today and probably for the rest of your life. Let's get another outfit. But that didn't work out so well. But until next time.
How'd that work out for you, Ty?
I'm probably
not going down that route. I'm gonna play like I didn't hear something. Like, this ear infection right here. Not me.
Till next time, we'll see you on Mom and Dad Talks. Thanks, CJ.